Hi everyone. So when you are preparing for the board exam such as in step 1, it's easy to make some minor mistakes in the final phase of your preparation. And those mistakes can be very costly. I wanted to make sure that everybody who's listening properly investing time in the final phase of preparation, especially when you're preparing for this step 1. So let's dive in. Alright, so my name is Dr. Muhammad Shah. As I mentioned, that final days of preparation is very important, especially when you are few months away from actual exam, 4 to 5 months away from actual exam, and you are IMG. You need to do few things. First of all, go to the USMLE website, browse through the website, how the application process works. Go to the frequently asked questions page. Browse through the questions that they are listed there, and if you have any additional question, feel free to contact to the USMLE. At that point, when you are few months away from the actual exam targeted date, you should start filling out the application for the exam. Create an account on the USMLE website and start filling out the online application, browse through the documents and so on. Once the application process is complete, your permit is with you. Now you are probably 2 months away from your actual exam. And when you are 2 months away from the actual exam, QBank plays a major role. The QBank, any of the QBank that you're using, it's not just the evaluation tool, but it's also a learning tool. Your goal is to pay close attention to the mistakes you are making and which organ system you are making those mistakes. Review explanation for the learning purpose. It's a tool that helps you to evaluate your performance, but also a tool that helps you to learn. Sometimes students say, I invest so much time on reading explanation. Yes, some students spend too much of time to read the explanation and they jeopardize their learning from the videos and also learning from the books. But also when you're reading the explanation, yes, it takes time, but you're basically grasping the concepts. So it's okay to invest enough time to learn from the explanation. Why are you making mistakes? Why are you selecting the wrong answer? And there are many videos I upload on that particular topic. I also upload the topic their video on the topic that how to memorize. Please take a look at those videos. Okay, so when you are doing questions, it's important that you create a study plan that help you to focus on the weak areas. It is very important that you should stick with the study schedule. Your day should contain questions, reading explanations, reading from the book, and watching the videos. So these are the components that your day should contain when you are few weeks away from the actual exam, especially 8 to 9 weeks away from your actual exam. During that time, it's important that you avoid all kind of distraction, emotional distractions, as well as some sort of sound distraction, how the environment is where you're studying, some visual distractions. Sometimes we have atmosphere where we sit and study and there is a lot going on in surroundings. You need to have a dedicated study location where there is no distraction. You should be focused 100% on questions, reading explanations, reading book, watching videos, and so on. So avoid all kind of the distractions. The reason I'm saying is that because any kind of the distraction that you have, you feel that you cover your task. Your goal was to cover 80 questions or 40 questions, you did that. But how much you were present, our concentration impacts on our performance and our retention. So that's why it's important that you should avoid all kind of distractions. Also, when you are away a few weeks from exam, you should avoid making any kind of commitment. So commitments such as that, okay, I have this particular event is coming up. I want to take my exam right before that event. So avoid any kind of commitment. Your priority is that you should take your exam when you're fully prepared to pass this. Once you get even more close to the actual exam date, now the time is really ticking. And now the stress level goes up. So there are some things that I would strongly suggest you to do when you're a few weeks away from actual exam. Your goal is to do 3 blocks of questions every single day. Your 2 blocks should be based on all subjects, all organ systems. And the third block of the question bank that you do, it should focus on particular organ system or particular subject. This way you will cover not only all the subjects, all the organ systems, but also you will cover the questions on the area that you are struggling. So this way you will have a spaced repetition on the topic that you have studied a few weeks ago or a few months ago. This way you can recall those topics very well, and doing about 80 questions itself is a lot of content to refresh. One thing I suggest when you are doing 3 blocks of questions, you try to read explanations of especially missed questions or incorrect questions or flagged questions on the same day. The reason I'm saying this is because when you do questions and read the explanation on the same day, the concept of the question vignettes are clear. When the time passes, we start forgetting what was the question about. We forget about the question scenario and we start reading the explanation. For example, you did a block and you have 20 questions that you missed. Now, when you do the 20 questions explanations on the next day, you probably will forget about what was the question's scenario was, what was the important points, what was the hallmarks, helpers, and distractors at that particular question. So I would suggest read the explanation on the same day that you're doing questions. Now, flagged questions are important because you were confused about what is the right answer and what is the not right. You are just guessing it, so you flagged that question. So pay close attention to the flagged question. Even you give the right answer, make sure that you are reading explanation of that to reassure that the approach that you were thinking about selection of that particular answer choice was correct. One more recommendation: when you are a few weeks away from actual exam, try to pick a day that you practice at least about 7 or 8 blocks. Especially if you are doing that exercise few weeks away from exam, you are building up the endurance and you are trying to see how the exam day will feel like. For example, your day of the exam is on Wednesday. Try to pick a day, same day like Wednesday, you do 8 blocks of exercise just the way you would have done in actual exam. Give yourself about 1 hour of break time in between the blocks and set your break as you would set in the actual exam date. So doing 2 blocks, taking a few minutes break, come back again, do 2 blocks and do same thing like taking a break. Once you are done with this exercise, then take a rest. And the following day, you spend entire day to read explanations of all incorrect questions and all flagged questions. You will this way cover a lot of content in the final days of preparation. And also, the first aid is the big help at that point. First aid is a memorizational tool. When you are few weeks away from your actual exam, I would suggest invest time on memorization. And first aid gives you the memorizational concepts like, points that what you should be memorized, important high yield points you can pull out from there. But if your score is significantly low in any particular area, then it's a good idea to watch the video or read the Kaplan book so you can cover the concepts in detail. As I said in the beginning, QBank is a practice tool and also a learning tool, but it doesn't give us an actual performance. So what will give us our actual performance, how strong and weak we are in any given particular topic? MBME is the best way to go. I would suggest take an MBME exam when you're a few weeks away from exam. And when you're taking the MBME, give enough time to measure your progress. For example, don't take each MBME after a few days. Give enough time so you can cover the concepts, review the weak areas, and take another MBME to see did you improve on those areas that you were weak in. Now, every time you're taking an MBME, you should have a specific target to achieve. For example, today you took an MBME, your score was 210, and you know that your weak areas are immunology, microbiology, and biochemistry. Give yourself about 2 weeks to cover these areas, then take another MBME with the targeted score in mind that now I wanted to achieve 225. With that score in mind, and also your score target should be realistic. This way you will not only have a target, but you will also have an area to improve. So I would suggest always having a targeted score in mind when you're taking an MBME. As earlier I said, don't take MBME in every few days, because this way you will run out of the MBMEs, and MBMEs are very good tool to assess your performance. When you're looking at the MBME score, I tell to my students that there should be, 20 to 15 to 20 points plus minus. So for example, when your score is 210, it's a very gray area, because you don't know how much your score can go up or how much your score can go down in actual exam. So the actual score target for this step 1, I would suggest you should have at least 235, 240 in the MBME. That put you into the green zone. Like, there are high chances that you probably will pass this exam. I hope you liked this video. Subscribe to this channel so you can get notification when I upload the new video on a different topic. But if you have any question, just like as always, feel free to reach out. I wish you all the best.